إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه وبركاته عليه. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم يغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن خير الكلام كلام الله تبارك وتعالى، وأحسن هدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. As we resume our lessons in Usool al-Eemaan by the great Imam al-Mujaddid Muhammad ibn Abdul-Wahhab rahimahullah rahmatun wasi'ah. And as we continue in the book, as we stopped in the hadith of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, we said that Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, his name was what, everyone? What was his name? Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. Adam. Abdullah ibn Qais. Abdullah ibn Qais. What's Abu Sa'id al-Khudri's real name? Sa'id ibn Malik ibn Sinan. طيب. As we talked about, we go on the hadith of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, and we talked about a little bit of his seerah. We said that Abu Musa al-Ash'ari is also is what? Yemeni. His real origin was, and he was initially from Yemen. Yemeni. Al-Ash'ari is originally a tribe that emanated from al-Yemen. We said that Abdullah ibn Qais, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu anhu, left out from Yemen. And what do we say in regards to his seerah? We said that he left and he went to become Muslim at the time during Fath Khaybar, right, everyone? And when he went during the time of Fath, or the victory of Khaybar, when the Prophet ﷺ was busy opening up and giving the victory of Khaybar, he went to meet with the Prophet ﷺ. As we discussed this last lesson, you guys should already have this. We went to Khaybar, just doing a little quick review before we start and continue where we left off. We said that he left out from Khaybar, right, everyone? Well, he went to Khaybar to meet with the Prophet ﷺ, and when he went in the sea, he met up with who? Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, and he had just happened to meet him while Ja'far ibn Abi Talib was going towards Al-Habasha, to Abyssinia. And he said that we had approximately Ja'far ibn Abi Talib approximately had around the number of 50 or a little bit less than the Sahaba, where they were going to Abyssinia. And they were migrating to Abyssinia when they were drawn out, or they were driven out in exile from Mecca. They went to Abyssinia, and Abu Musa al-Ash'ari met his boat. I happened to meet the boat of Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. This is what we mentioned last class, right, everyone? We mentioned this. طيب. So we said that he had about maybe approximately 50 of the Sahaba with him, meaning Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, and he stayed in Habasha for how many years? 7 years. I gotta get you guys back in the engine going again. You guys, a week off, everybody's cold. Ain't no problem. You still have to study. Still gotta learn. We just met the author of Mujahid, right, everyone? لا يتعلم من هو مستكبر ولا مستحيٍ. Right, everyone? What the Mujahid say? A person is not going to learn ilm who's arrogant and the one who's extremely shy. You understand? طيب. So we said that when he was going to Khaybar, Ja'far ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu met with Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. And Ja'far ibn Abi Talib had stayed in Abyssinia for approximately 7 years. Stayed there for 7 years. Until the fitna had abated, and he went to Medina to meet with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Abu Musa al-Ash'ari accompanied Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. They were together. And it was all during the period of time of Fath Khaybar. It was all during the time of Fath Khaybar. So Abu Musa al-Ash'ari and likewise Ja'far ibn Abi Talib together met the Prophet ﷺ, and that was the time in which you will find that Abu Musa al-Ash'ari had became Muslim. And you will find the hadith of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, that famous hadith, when they were all going up the mountain and they were saying Allahu Akbar loudly. That all was during the time Fath Khaybar. Keep that in your mind because that's a good way you can memorize this hadith. During the time Fath Khaybar, around the time Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, that famous hadith when the Prophet ﷺ said, "Irba'u ala anfusikum, innakum la tad'una asamman, excuse me, wala ghaiba. Innama tad'una sami'an basira." And another narration, sami'an qariba. And another narration, sami'an basiran qariba. That hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, they was going up the mountain high and they were saying Allahu Akbar. That hadith is on Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, and that was during the time of Fath Khaybar. That hadith. And the Prophet ﷺ said, "Irba'u anfusikum." Now calm down. Verily you are not invoking what? The one whose death, nor is he what? Not gone. He's not absent. He's with you. That be dhatihi, well, that could be ilmi. Not by him, his essence, but however in his what? In his knowledge and all of that, which is all his eyesight is everywhere, likewise his hearing everywhere, to the end of it. He said, verily you're not calling on the one who's ghaib, nor some. He said, verily you are calling on the one who's what? All hearing and what? All seeing. That hadith is on the author Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. Abdullah ibn Qais was during the time of Fath Khaybar. Everyone understand what I'm saying? Everybody understand? That same hadith was during that same period of time. So it's a good way to memorize that hadith. طيب. So Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, he became Muslim. And likewise, we know that the Prophet ﷺ had also appointed him to be from those who were in charge in the time or in the area of Yemen. Prophet ﷺ had appointed him to be from that which is of areas in Yemen, and from them was Aden. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari was in charge of those areas. And likewise, Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, likewise also appointed him to be amongst those who are in charge in Basra, which is in Iraq in these days and times, right? And Abu Musa al-Ash'ari was also from those who were from the Qudah. He was from the judges. He was a judge. He was also a qadi, radiyallahu anhu. And he was also amongst those who was given a good sawt in the Quran. He was given a good voice in recitation in the Quran. To the Prophet ﷺ heard his recitation, he said about that, when he heard Abu Musa al-Ash'ari reciting, he was hasan al-sawt bil Quran. And to the Prophet ﷺ said in the narration, he said, وَلَقَدْ أُوتِيتَ مِزْمَارًا مِنْ مَزَامِيرِ آلِ دَاوُودَ. He was been given that which is of that beautiful voice, so that recitation for that which is of that mazamir Ali Dawood, that which is of those beautiful recitation, that beautiful voice, or those beautiful instrument, meaning of the voice of that which is of the family of Dawood. So he's Hasan al-Sawt bil Quran. That's everything we mentioned last class. That was just a brief مراجعة خفيفة قبل أن نشرع في الدرس نفسه. نراجع معكم مراجعة خفيفة قبل أن نشرع في الدرس نفسه. طيب. Anyway, يا معاشر الإخوة, we say that which is of this hadith, we always, like before we start on the hadith, we always talk a little bit about the Sahabi before we actually inaugurate and speaking about or explaining the hadith itself. طيب. We also said Abu Hurairah, likewise, also was from where? He was from Yemen. Abu Hurairah, likewise, was also originally from Yemen. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, likewise, was also from the Sahaba that was initially from Yemen. Because he's Yemeni, Ash'ari. Initially, like we said, it emanates from the tribes that come from Yemen. طيب. So the hadith itself, as we start on it, تفضل, maybe Adam can read it. You don't have your book? Who has the book? Nobody brings their book. Or the worksheets that we disseminated to the brothers. We disseminated those papers. You have it with you? Jayyid. That's it. No, I'm not crazy. Tafadal. My memory usually serves me right, except in certain circumstances. تفضل. Yep, that's the hadith. Notice before we start, Ya Ma'ashal Ikhwa, what do you notice? We talked about the tariqah, the methodology of Muhammad Abdul Wahhab in his book. We said that sometimes he'll put the tabweeb, he'll put the headings of, or the title, or the heading of each chapter. This one in particular, he didn't. This one in particular, he didn't. In contrast to the hadith from last lesson, notice he put a heading at the top of the chapter, right everyone? But in this particular hadith, there is no heading. There isn't any heading. And that's what we mentioned in the last, or not in the last class, but in the first class, that you will find some hadith he put a tabweeb at the head of it. He put a tabweeb, or he put a heading above the hadith or at the beginning of that hadith starting off that chapter. But there's some hadith he did not put a heading in front of it. And this is an example of one of that which we're saying now. He didn't put a tabweeb at the head of it or a heading at the head of that hadith. I'm sorry.
On the authority of Abu Hurairah, radiallahu anhu, the messenger of Allah, said, Allah, the Most High said, I am the most self-sufficient of partners from that shirk.
No. I'm sorry. What am I? The second one.
On the authority of Abu Musa, radiallahu anhu, that he said, the messenger of Allah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, stood amongst us and spoke 5 statements. He said, indeed, Allah, the Most High, does not sleep, and it is not befitting for him that he sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
He lowers justice and raises it. The actions of the night are raised to him before the actions of the morning, and the actions of the morning uncovered it. And the actions of the morning are raised to him before the actions of the night.
No, that's it. تفضل.
His hijab, i.e. veil, covering, is light. If he uncovered it, the magnificence of his face would burn up everything from his creation, which his sight reaches, i.e. everything narrated by Muslims.
جيد. This is the next hadith in which we'll start on in Kitab Usool al-Eemaan. This great hadith in which this hadith affirms a lot of characteristics from the characteristics of Allah, Tabarak wa Ta'ala, that are the most complete in every aspect. We talked about of that which is the Aqsam al-Tawheed al-Rububiyyah wal-Uluhiyyah wal-Asma wal-Sifat. In this hadith you will find that there's a lot of that which is of characteristics of the Sifat of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala that is mentioned in this hadith. It says that the Prophet ﷺ, that he stood up in order to exhort his companions, and he gave that which is of what? Khamsi kalimat. He taught them and said to them that which is of 5 words. He said, verily Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala does not sleep. La yanam. We said last week, Ya Ma'ashal Ikhwa, verily Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala does not sleep, and nor is it befitting for him to sleep. He does not sleep, nor is it befitting for him to what? To sleep. طيب. That which, Ya Ma'ashal Ikhwa, we know that the asl of it, there are characteristics which are صفات النقص في حق الرب وصفات الكمال في حق الإنسان. That which is of those characteristics that are considered perfection as it pertains to the Creator, and it's a naqs and it's an imperfection as it pertains to the creation. And likewise, there's vice versa. There's characteristics that is considered perfection as it pertains to the creation, and it's imperfection if it was for the Creator. The example of that is what? Sleep. Sleep is imperfection, does not befit the Creator, but it's perfection as it pertains to the creation, because the creation needs sleep. But as far as Nawm, that's considered imperfection because the Creator is complete and he does not need anything. And it's not befitting that he has the characteristic of what? Sleep. You understand, everyone? Because that's a sifat naqs. It's a characteristic of imperfection. We said that Allah Ta'ala, the asl of that goes back to that which is of Ayat al-Kursi, where Allah Ta'ala says, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum, la ta'khudhuhu zinatun wa la nawm. له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. طيب, that ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Ayat al-Kursi, what is he saying? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم, that which is of the introduction of sleep, which is what? Feeling drowsy, which is the meaning of sina. The word sina, ya ma'ashal ikhwa, is muqaddimat or muqaddimat al-nawm. It is the introduction or that which is of the feeling you get before you actually sleep, which is called drowsiness. Allah Ta'ala does not overtake him or overcome him weariness, drowsiness, nor the actual characteristic of sleep. طيب, that ya ma'ashal ikhwa, as we talked about before, you will notice there is characteristics that Allah Ta'ala of that which is the minhaj of, you will find in the book of Allah Ta'ala, and we'll talk about it inshaAllah. All of it goes under the banner of the ayat which is the Surah Al-Shura, where Allah Ta'ala says, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. You see why I say kids about the qaida of kids, and everybody say, Abdur-Razzaaq, you too hard, brother. طيب, at any rate, for like we were saying, as far as, no, you keep him here. Keep him here. Just let him, you can keep him here. Oh, he's a good man. طيب, as far as the characteristics of that which Allah Ta'ala negates from himself, there are characteristics, and they are called as-sifat as-salbiyah, characteristics that Allah negates from himself because it's imperfection. He negates from himself certain characteristics because it's imperfection. From that is what you just see here. What did Allah Ta'ala negate from himself in the ayah? Sleep, and what else? Slumber, weariness, tiredness, weariness, to the end of it, drowsiness. He negates those characteristics. But there's a minhaj in that. As Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah Ibn al-Qayyim says, there's not a characteristic that Allah Ta'ala negates from himself, except there is another affair that has to be brought. Because Nafi al-Mahad, you'll find that Shaykh al-Islam repeats this over and over again, and Ibn al-Qayyim. النفي المحض ليس بشيء إلا إذا جاء بضد كماله. For the minhaj you'll find of Ahl Sunnah, they always come with nafi, and they always come with what? Ithbat. Negation, affirmation. All the time. And the asl of that even goes to La ilaha illallah. Just to say La ilaha, negate, without bringing the what? Ithbat, the information, illallah, that's what makes it complete. So that which you see here, ya ma'ashal ikhwa, is negation. But just as Ibn al-Qayyim says, an-nafi al-mahad laysa bi shay. Just mere negation is nothing. Unless there's another affair that comes along with it, which is what they call ithbat, affirmation. Allah Ta'ala negates these characteristics to affirm the complete of his opposite. Allah negates sleep from himself. He negates weariness from himself. He negates la'ib, or playing around, joking and jesting from himself, because he's trying to affirm something else that's complete of his opposite. For example, Allah Ta'ala negates from himself nawm, sina, ta'ab, whatever, all to affirm absolute qayyumiyya wahya, to absolute come with something that's the total, complete of his opposite, which is absolute perfect life. And, for example, he negates from himself those characteristics to affirm something that's the complete of his opposite, which is also qayyumiyya. قائم بنفسه وقائم بغيره. Qayyumiyya, qayyum, the characteristic of absolute perfect self-sufficiency and life and not needing anything, tabaraka wa ta'ala. All self-sustaining and complete in every aspect. So those characteristics that Allah negates from himself is not just for mere negation. Unless you come with another affair. If you guys do not write this down, and you don't know this next week, I'm going to be very upset. There's no way you can see, if you find that Allah Ta'ala negates a characteristic in his book, he's affirming something which is the completeness of his or the opposite of it, which is a characteristic, which is the opposite of that characteristic which he negated. You can say it in your own words. Allah Ta'ala negates from himself characteristics that is imperfection as it pertains to him, in order to bring another affair, which is what? Ithbat, affirmation. In order to affirm the completeness of its opposite. Allah negates from himself sleep in order to affirm what? Absolute perfect life. He negates from himself sina or noam, which is also to affirm absolute perfect qayyumiyah. Meaning he's the one that carry out the affairs of the creation, and he stands alone tabarak wa ta'ala by himself. All sustaining, self-sustaining, all perfect, independent, absolute independency. Tabarak wa ta'ala. You understand, everyone? Allah, another example. Allah tabarak wa ta'ala negates from himself nisyan, forgetfulness, ghafla, heedlessness, inadvertentness, to affirm the completeness of its opposite, which is absolute perfect ilm. Absolute perfect ilm from every aspect. Allah Ta'ala negates from himself la'ib. وَمَا خَلَقَنَا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا لَاعِبِينَ مَا خَلَقَنَاهُمَا إِلَّا بِحَقٍّ. Allah Ta'ala created the heavens and the earth and that which is between it, joking and jesting. Negate it from himself, those characteristics, in order to affirm the completeness of his opposite, which is absolute perfect hikmah, absolute perfect wisdom. Tabaraka wa ta'ala. He does not create or do anything whatsoever, tabaraka wa ta'ala, except that it emanated out of some wisdom behind it. Nothing takes place in this heavens and the earth of evil, of good, which is connected with Allah, with Allah's Ta'ala's irada, al-kawniyya, al-qadariyya, except that it came or emanated from His absolute wisdom. Nothing happens of good and evil in this dunya or in this kawn, in this existence, except that it came and it was connected with some type of hikmah. Allah Ta'ala, you guys have to just get the tape. So that is the characteristic that you see. These characteristics are called what, everyone? As-sifat as-salbiyah. As-sifat as-salbiyah. Characteristics which are negated because they're imperfection as it pertains to Him Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Understand, everyone? Those sifat as-salbiyah. As-salbiyah. Salbiyah. Salbiyah bis-seen. Seen lam ba. Comes from the salb, which means to take away something. Salib in the Arabic language, I think it means negative, like negative positive. They got mujab or salib. They call it negative positive. Anyway, that's just like we say negative positive. Anyway, those that you say, ya ma'ashal ikhwa, salbiyah, those characteristics that are negated from Allah, like we talked about what Ibn al-Qayyim, what Shaykh al-Islam said, mere negation is mere nothingness, unless you come with an affair that, what? That comes along with it, which is ithbat, affirmation. You will find that Allah Ta'ala negates, and there has to be accompanied along with it, affirmation. That's even in the asl of what makes us Muslim. La ilaha illallah. The asl of it is what? Nafi. And also likewise what comes along with it, what, everyone? Ithbat. You understand? Negation and what? Affirmation. And you cannot just say La ilaha and be quiet. There's no God worthy worship. It's not enough. You have to come with what? Illallah, which is what? Affirmation. You have to come with that. Or else it will not be complete. La ilaha. None has the right to be worshipped. There's a refutation against the mushrikeen. Illallah is a refutation against the malahida, against the atheists. La ilaha, none has the right to be worshipped in truth. That's a refutation against the polytheists and the kuffar, those who attribute and worship with Allah other deities. Illallah, except Allah, is a refutation against the atheists. So you made the tasfiyah, you made the tarbiyah. You made the purification, you took everything out, and then you put in the good stuff. Illallah. You understand, everyone? Purified, and then you put in what is the haqq. Illallah. You understand, everyone? And you'll find that same mizan is on a scale where Allah Ta'ala says in his book, وَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ what? وَيُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى لَا انْفِصَامَ لَهَا. Whoever disbelieves in the taghut, what's that? Nafi, negation. And believes in Allah, what's that? Affirmation. Same manhaj. وَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ وَيُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ. Whoever disbelieves in the taghut, negation. Believes in Allah. What? Affirmation. Understand, everyone? طيب. The ayah which you'll find of that which comes in Surah Shura, where Allah Ta'ala says in his book, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. Nothing is similar to him, and he is the all what? Sami'un Basir. The minhaj of Ahl Sunnah and Sifat is al-ijmal fi al-nafi wa tafsil fi al-ithbat. Based upon the ayah where Allah Ta'ala says in his book, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. Nothing is similar to him. What's that? Negation. وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ what? Affirmation. طيب. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ is a refutation against the Mu'attila or Nufah. وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ is a refutation. You'll find, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ is a refutation against the Mushabbihah. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ is a refutation against the Mushabbihah al-Mumathila. وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ is a refutation against al-Mu'attila al-Nufah. طيب. Nothing is similar to him is a refutation against those who resemble Allah with his creation. And he is the all-hearing, the all-seeing, is a refutation against those who negate his characteristics. Just like La ilaha illallah's refutation, just like the ayah, Laysa kamithlihi shay, also it is a refutation. There's no way you can get around refutations in the religion of Islam. And if you truly cultivate the people, there's no way you can get around refutations. Refutations in the asl of La ilaha illallah is a refutation. Refutation against the mushrikeen and the malahida. Laysa kamithlihi shay is a refutation against who? The mumathila and the mushabbiha. What was Sami' al-Basir is a refutation against the who? The mu'attila and nufa. Refutation. There's no getting around it. There's no way you can cultivate people without refutations. There's no getting around it. You're a khain if you